I dare you. I dare you to think big. I dare you to act big, and I dare you to be bigger than you are now. Because it is the habit of thinking big that's going to make you achieve your goals. What is it that differentiates successful people from not so successful people? It's just a single thought that differentiates these two. What is this single thought about? This single thought is about thinking big. But what is thinking big? Thinking big is imagining the unimaginable and doing the impossible. This is what thinking big is. Thinking big develops its roots very deep down so that it can carry the weight of its success. Make sure that if you think big, you will be big. And this is my promise to you. So let's start this session on how to develop the habit of thinking big. My name is Michelle and I'm glad to have you with me. To become a big thinker, you need to incorporate thinking big into almost every area of your life. You shouldn't only think about your problems. If you think about them critically and flexibly. You should be open-minded and ready to accept changes. You must be ready to learn. Think big about different areas of your life. Think big about your daily schedules and your routines. How can you make your day more productive? How can you make your today more productive than your yesterday was? This is where you need to think big. You need to think big by unleashing your imagination and thinking creatively outside the box. Think of multiple solutions to a problem and not just one solution. Think big and do not hesitate when you're thinking big. You must think that the solution that you're trying to provide to a problem, how is it going to affect globally? Do you think it's going to have a global solution? Is your solution going to help more than one person? Revolutionize your thinking and start thinking big. Think in a bigger manner at a bigger picture. The key to thinking big is to step out of your own personality. It's time that you enter into someone else's shoes, someone who is more creative than you and someone who can think bigger than you. Who can that be? Someone who can think more creatively, someone who can think more bigger than you do. That can be a child. Think of a child. A child is not very hesitant when he has to climb a tree. But if you have to climb a tree, you'll think twice. So think like a child and step out of your own shoes. Look at everything from a child's perspective and you'll definitely have a bigger picture and you'll no more be afraid of little and small challenges. Let's say that you want to try thinking like a musician. What about a musician? He wants to create something out of nothing. Think like him so that you can be more creative. Or maybe you can think like an athlete and a winning athlete. He persists and overcomes almost all the obstacles just because he wants to win. And what about the Nobel Prize winner scientist? You can think like him as well. He has to work so hard, so meticulously to achieve his aims. So you can think like him as well. So now you know exactly what to do. You need to step out of your own shoes, step out of your own personality and start thinking big from the perspective of someone bigger than you. There are some habits that lead you to thinking big. However, there are some habits that cause you to think small. It's time that you limit these habits that cause you to think small. These could be habits like procrastination. So procrastination holds you back from doing what you're supposed to do. It delays things, it delays a lot of things, and finally, it delays your success, which is very sad. There are other things that hold you back from thinking big, for example, negative thinking. Sometimes we focus so much on the negative that we do not think of the possibilities in the present and also possibilities in the future. Now, there's another problem related to thinking, and that is of thinking small. Sometimes you think small when you look at things at a smaller perspective, which means that you have short-term thinking and not long-term thinking. So you must think a few steps ahead. Whenever you take a decision, you should think that what are the consequences of that decision and how beneficial it's going to be to you and to the other people around you. And not only that, you need to overcome thinking small through limiting all these habits and going ahead and thinking much larger, watching the bigger picture and achieving what you want to achieve. Just as we talked in the previous tip about limiting habits, we also need to limit fears in order to think big. You need to limit the fear of the future. You need to limit the fear of what could go wrong. You must limit the fear of whether or not you're going to be successful, because you need to follow the trial and the error strategy. Even if you fail, it's okay. You don't need to be afraid of failure. You must remember that you cannot win in your comfort zone. You can only win in your difficult zone. So do not be afraid of stepping out of your comfort zone and stepping into the difficult zone in order to win. So you can think big, definitely, if you limit your fears. So make that decision with me today, so that 100 years down the lane, or maybe 50 years down the lane, 100 is a bit too much, you will be sitting on your rocking chair smiling, because you won't have any regrets that you did not try something. So limit your fears, try new things, and this is how you begin the journey of thinking big. The final tip that I have for you is cultivate thinking big. Like I told you that you need to limit certain habits in order to think big, the same way you need to cultivate some habits in order to think big. The first habit that you need to cultivate is to empower your language. What kind of a language do you use? Do you always keep complaining and worrying about your life? And do you always keep saying negative things? Well, then your words are exactly a reflection of how your life is going to be in a few years. So make sure that you say positive phrases and positive things about your life. Do not say negative things. Say that you are successful and you'll definitely be successful. The second thing that you need to do in order to think big is that you need to think forward, which means that you need to start thinking a few steps ahead. Thinking big is almost like playing a game of chess. If you cannot think a few steps or a few moves in advance, then you have not yet cultivated the habit of thinking big. So make sure that you think a few steps in advance, you look at the bigger picture and think of what consequences are your actions going to bear a few years down the lane. And the last thing that you need to do is you need to envision and believe what you want to do. You don't have to be afraid. You have to say that I envision, whatever I envision, I believe it. Whatever I believe, I do it. And whatever I do it will never be impossible for me. And definitely you'll achieve your aims. These are the tips that you need to follow in order to think big. Now that your journey of thinking big has already begun by watching this session, be ready to face criticism from the people around you. Whenever you're on your journey to success, you will definitely face a lot of criticism. At such times, remember that thinking big has got its roots very firm. It's not afraid of criticism and it's not afraid of obstacles. So now you've started thinking big and you're definitely going to do big. Thank you so much for watching this session with me. This is Michelle signing off. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel Skillopedia, where you can learn the skills for the real world.